Hi, Owen.
Mr. Wood.
Hey, Joseph.
Hey, Owen.
Hello. Hey, Josiah. Okay, guys, take your seats. Okay, guys, take about 4 minutes to do your bell ringer. I'm going to take attendance real quick. How's it going, Owen?
Oh, pretty good.
Okay. No questions so far?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, so today we're going to do our bell ringer and our know, want to learn, and what you did learn sheet. Okay, so when you're done with your bell ringer, make sure you write down what you already know about scatter plots and what you would like to know. And then when we're all done with the lesson, we'll write down what you did learn. A couple other notes for today. We're going to do the bell ringer, read some notes together, do some examples on the board, and do a scatter plots activity. So I'll have you pair up, measure each other, and I'll explain more about that later, but it'll be out of your seat and hands-on. We'll also be able to shoot some basketball, which I know Owen likes. And then we'll be able to work on our homework when we're all done. So again, you'll have about 3 more minutes to do your bell ringer, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, how's it going, Josiah?
Good.
Okay, good. Joseph, how's it going?
How do you find the temperature of 100 when there isn't one?
Okay, so what you're going to do for on the back for number 3, guys, it's just like it says on the board. You're going to take your ruler and you're going to connect the dots, and using that line, the line that's like perfectly centered between the dots, you can estimate what the y value would be when x is 100. Okay? Let me figure out. All right, class, so what did you guys get for your estimate on your bell ringer? When you looked that over with your peers, what did the pair of you get? 100 degrees, I got, yep, just a little bit over 80, maybe 81, 82. All right, so that's pretty good. Any questions on how we got 82? Didn't sound like we got anything wildly different, so no. Okay, so what we're going to do for today is we're actually going to learn about scatter plots, okay? So when I came around and looked at your know, want to know, and learn, it seemed like everybody understood ordered pairs, and we understood y equals mx plus b, but maybe we'd forgotten some of the stuff from 8th grade. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to do some notes together. So here's the key idea, okay? A graph with your points plotted, your coordinate pairs x, y. Sometimes there's a relationship between the data, sometimes there's not. Okay, sometimes y is predicted by x, sometimes it's not. Okay, so that's the key idea, and we can figure that out by drawing a straight line. If a straight line pretty much shows us the same thing the dots are showing, if they all go in the same direction, then we have a trend. If they don't, then we don't. So when all the points look like this, our ordered pairs look like this, what you can kind of see is as you go to the right, as x gets bigger, the y values also go up. Okay, that's a positive correlation or a positive slope. Just like on your bell ringer, when you took your ruler and you drew a straight line, it was rising to the right, so that would be a positive correlation. Okay, that would be like hours worked and the amount of your paycheck, right? You work more hours, your paycheck amount goes up. Okay, when one gets bigger, the other gets bigger. Okay. Negative correlation, just the opposite. So here, as we move to the right on the x-axis, our y values are going down. So that would be a negative slope. It's going to fall to the right. Okay? So that would be like time spent playing video games and your grade, right? So Fortnite, yeah, you're all smiling because you all talk about Fortnite every single day. So as you spend more time on Fortnite, you have less time for other things. So your test scores go down. Okay? So negative correlation, the big idea is that when one of the things increases, the other one decreases, right? Like your bank account and your spending, right? So the more you spend, the more that goes up, the more your bank account goes down, okay? And then no correlation. This is all over, all right? There is no one straight line that you could draw through this that would be really close to all the points, right? If you tried to make it a positive correlation, it's really, really far away from these points. If you tried to make it a negative correlation, it's really far away from the points in the upper right-hand corner and the left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. Okay? So you got three possibilities. They increase or decrease together. One goes up when the other goes down, or they don't have a connection. Any question on the three types of correlation we can have? No? Okay. All right. Put up your little green sign if you're good to go, if you got it. And the red one if you don't. Okay, 1, 2, 3, green. Joseph, what's your question? And don't be shy, because if you have a question, probably a lot of other students do too. So what's your question, Joseph?
Are we going to be working with the no correlation graphs?
We are. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
that's it.
Okay. All right. How about this one, guys? This says CDs sold in millions. Yes, Owen.
I won't be here on Friday because I have funerals to go to.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. You'll just have to see me after class to make up your test,
Okay.
or before in homeroom. Okay.
All right.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you.
So for this one, guys, CDs sold in the millions. All right. So number of CDs sold on the y-axis, and the year on the x-axis. So we got three possibilities. So Chris, what are the three types of correlation that are possible?
Could be positive, negative, or no correlation at all.
Okay, good. All as x increases, as you go to the right on the x-axis, the y values go down. So it would be negative. So that would be correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Why are the numbers of CDs that are getting sold decreasing over time?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I did is I actually pulled real graphs from the real world. What do you think, Josiah? Why do you think the number of CDs starts to drop off in about 2006?
Netflix and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I think they probably switched to a digital format, right? So MP3s, so people are downloading music files instead of buying the physical compact disc. That's a good point, Chris. Thank you. All right, so good job on the notes and your participation with that. Good job, guys. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do our activity. So you're going to generate your own data, and we're going to plot it on an XY plane and see if there's a correlation in the positive, negative, or not at all sense, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just toss this ball, keep you guys focused. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to read it, okay, on your own. But basically you're going to split into pairs, you're going to measure each other's wingspan, and good catch. And what we're going to do is write down the ordered pair, like Josiah will measure Joseph's wingspan, vice versa. Write down your two ordered pairs, and then we'll swap sheets with everybody, okay? Do you guys understand the basic idea? Except for maybe what a wingspan is. So a wingspan is if you're standing like this, okay? So you don't want to have your arms at weird angles. You want to have them like perpendicular, okay, like this, not up, not down, just kind of flat. And your partner is going to take a tape measure and measure you from fingertip to fingertip. So come on up here, Owen. I want to show people how to do this. So turn towards your peers and go like this. It is opposite fingertip. Any question on what a wingspan is? Okay. So go ahead and pick a partner. Okay. All right. And get your tape measure here. Yep, stand up straight. There you go. There you go. Okay, there you go. 59. Okay, so that would be the x value. It'd be 59 comma wingspan, where there's wingspan.
Okay.
There you go.
59 by 57.
There you go.
Mr. Wood?
Yeah.
Where should we write down the answers?
60.
So it'll be in your notebook right here.
So let's
Okay, so
see.
you're gonna write it down. All right, so we have collected all our data from everybody in the class, and I've summarized it here nicely. So we're gonna do the line of best fit. You do not want to have all the points on the top or all the points on the bottom. You want to have a line that goes through the middle and has about the same number of dots above and below. You also want to make sure it's centered between all the dots. That's another way to think about it. So we are going to do that like this. All right, and as you can see, that line separates the dots about equally. There's about the same number on top and same number on bottom. You don't have to exactly cross through any of the dots. It's just an approximation, okay? So we cross through the origin here. What does that mean? What is that ordered pair, 0, 0? What does that mean in this context? What do you think, Joseph?
It means there's someone who is 0 inches tall and has a 0-inch wingspan.
Which makes sense mathematically, right? If you have no height, you have no wingspan. Does that make sense in the real world? No, you can't be alive and have 0 height. So that's not going to make sense. Some things make sense mathematically, but not in the real world. You always have to check for the reasonableness of your answers. Okay, so we are going to approximate a line from this. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Owen, what's the m stand for?
That stands for the slope.
All right, good. And Josiah, what is slope? In simple terms, what is it?
Slope is like how much it's going up or down.
Good. How steep the line is. Good. Just like I told you. Okay, change in y divided by change in x. And how about the b? Do you remember what the b is, Joseph?
The B is where the line crosses the y-axis.
All right, good. That's the y-intercept is the fancy term for that, okay? What's our y-intercept here? Where does this line cross the y-axis? What do you think, Owen?
It's 0.
Okay, so this is a directly proportional relationship, just like you learned in middle school. So it's going to be y equals kx. So it's going to be y is just some multiple of x. Or think about it as a slope-intercept with an intercept of 0, right? So you're going to add 0. So you just have to figure out this value. You've got to figure out what the slope is. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get on the laptops and plug in all our ordered pairs, and we're going to see if their line looks like ours. Okay, so we'll do that in just a second. Let's kind of figure out this slope. What would this slope be, right? Do you know how to figure out a slope from a line? How do you do that, Chris?
You could count the number of tick marks it goes up and the number of tick marks it goes over until it crosses 2 corners.
Okay, good. Yeah. So what Chris was saying is you can make a triangle and walk the triangle. So here's a triangle. I'm going to do this point and this point. These are pretty darn close to the line. Okay, so you can make a right triangle and you can walk the triangle. So I'm going to walk to the right and then I'm going to walk up. Okay, this would be my change in x. The little triangle means change. This would be my change in y. All right. How many blocks did I walk to the right? Josiah.
About 2.5.
Good. So change in x is 2.5, 2.5. And how about my change in y? What are we looking at there? Owen.
About 2 1/3.
Okay, good. About 2 1/3. All right, so that would be 2.3 repeating. All right, and then our slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. That's going to be pretty close to 1, right? Is it going to be a little bit bigger than 1 or a little bit smaller than 1, Chris?
A little bit smaller.
So it is. Okay, so, all right, so what we have is we have the slope is going to be just a little bit less than 1, okay? All right, so go ahead and log on to your laptop and follow the instructions in the second half of your packet to double check your answer using technology. Okay, so make sure you're entering all the ordered pairs into Desmos, and they'll show us if our y equals mx plus b made any sense.
Laptop, hang on.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so that's
Did you find the table function, Chris?
yes, we did.
All right.
63, 66, and 65, and 60. Okay.
The first one's a 64, actually.
Oh, that one's 64. Okay. Thank you. And then 67 and 63. And the last one is 59 and 57. Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else to do? And highlighted box. Where's the highlighted box? Choose a color for the points. Oops.
That's good. You can stop.